but this time they're at sea. The big business of buying and selling the world's most luxurious yachts next. But first, here's Dylan Radigan with a look at what's coming up tonight on Fast Money.
Tuesday night in Times Square, we've got a new official Fast Money trader, and her name is...
Call it Friendo. No Country for Old Men. Rated R. Now play.
Welcome back to Squawk Box, everybody. Let's get a check on the markets right now. We are actually seeing some improvement in the stock market futures this morning. Right now, those Dow futures are indicated higher by better than 70 points, up by about 72 points above fair value. You're also looking at some increasing strength in the S&P 500 at this point, higher than 11 points above fair value. Let's get straight to the top stories on CNBC.com right now. This morning, Warren Buffett getting into the muni bond insurance business. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway starting as an operation aimed at insuring bonds issued by county, city, and state governments. It'll begin today in New York, but will seek approval in other states as well. Also, the nation's biggest banks are in the process of pruning their portfolios, potentially. The Journal's Heard on the Street column says today that Citigroup is leading this parade and could unload up to $12 billion in assets to try and shore up its capital position. See, there a big move down for Citigroup yesterday after some concerning notes put out by Goldman Sachs.
As Becky mentioned, futures trending upward today after a pretty big sell-off yesterday. Kevin Kerr with Resource Trader Alert. He's our oil guy. Michael Wolfolk is with Bank of New York Mellon. He's our currency man. And Scott Nations with Fortress Trading. Kevin, let's start with you. We had the bullish reserve news. We had, of course, the Benazir Bhutto news. Is this the geopolitics that you folks think we need, if you will, to go past 100?
Well, clearly it shocked the markets yesterday. You know, Pakistan is not really a player in the oil sector, but that's kind of uncertainty in the market certainly drove some speculators into the oil yesterday. We see it more in gold, but I don't think it's going to play out unless we see an escalation of things from Al-Qaeda, another ramp-up of terrorist action. But
they are bordering, the borders are the issue, right, with Iran especially. The whole region seems to... there's spillover impact, possibly. That's the fear.
Absolutely. And what we saw with Turkey bombing the Kurdish area after the State Department came out and said, don't do it, or we'll tell you don't do it again. This kind of thing, I think, has more effect on the oil market than, you know, even an assassination in Pakistan, even though it's terrible.
Michael, we saw more substantial movements in terms of currencies today. Joe Kernan was talking about the strong move with the weakness of the dollar against the yen, and now we're talking 150 again with the euro dollar. What's behind it?
Well, essentially, over the last several years, we've seen dollar weakness going into the end of the year, followed by a New Year dollar rally.
Why is that?
Well, essentially, we have had fundamentals working against the dollar for several years now, as well as U.S. investors investing in high-flying overseas stocks. So you see a kind of an emphasis on that towards year-end. You see a dollar rally the first few weeks of the new year as the U.S. economy still represents about 30% of the global economy, 30% of global trade, and still a very large piece of the overall market for equities. So fresh money coming into the market, the new year, tends to favor U.S. stocks, and hence there's a kind of a false bid to the dollar in the first few weeks.
Scott, we were talking a lot today about how the reaction, the global reaction to what happened in Pakistan. Of course, we had a sell-off yesterday. We're bouncing back today. We were down 192 yesterday, but we're strong today. Is there any difference from past disruptions in terms of politics internationally to what we witnessed yesterday? Scott?
Good for stocks. When traders are focusing on geopolitical issues, it's just never good for stocks. And I think today, as the focus moves away from that sort of thing, that we're going to realize that yesterday was overdone. It's no surprise that we're looking for a little bit of a direction. The S&P is right in the middle of this big range we've been in, 1560 to the top and 1410 to the bottom. We're right in the middle of that. We're also right on top of all the moving averages. So we're, to a certain degree, fundamentally, we're looking for a direction. And as I said, I think the focus is going to move away from the issues in Pakistan.
Quickly, Scott, are you then pulling back and sort of taking a wait-and-see attitude in terms of investments?
Well, I think that for the rest of the year, you have to. It's going to be thin. And unfortunately, issues like we saw yesterday can move the market probably more than they should.
All right. Kevin, Michael, Scott, thanks for the insight. Have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Just 6 days. I can't believe I'm happy. I'm excited about a caucus.
Have you ever caucused?
No, I've never caucused. You?
You can't unless you live there.